Hello, hello. I want to quickly just share with you a little bit of what I'm noticing as I read through your random act of kindness responses. The first thing that I want to point out to you is that there's this rule about it relates to grammar and conventions. You know, when we talk about conventions, that was one of the things I graded. Conventions would be everything from spelling to capitalization, and then to grammar and sentence structure, and those types of things can even blend in there with conventions, all right? So I had to grade you on your ability to follow the rules of the English language, and there were a few things that I want to mention. So I'm actually going to start by just giving you a quick example. This is what I saw a lot of, a lot more than I wanted to see. So here we go. Random, and I'm just going to pretend like I'm a student right now. Random act of kindness is when one person does something nice for someone else, and that person then does something nice for someone else, and the random acts of kindnesses are continued in hopes that the world will be forever changed. It's cool to be part of something like this, and I think we should do a lot more of it because the world needs more kindness. Period. These were hard to grade. They were hard to read. It takes a lot of work to read something like this, because when we speak, if you listen to the way that I'm talking right now, I pause, and those pauses tell you when a thought ends and a new thought begins, and those pauses are very important. Okay, your brain needs those pauses when they're listening. When your brain is listening to somebody else talk, it needs the pause to process what was said and get ready for something new. Okay, it's the same thing as a writer. As a writer, you need to incorporate pauses. Without those pauses, the person reading your writing does not know when one thought ends and another thought begins. Their brain is not able to process what you're saying, and therefore it takes them a lot of work to read your writing. And so as I read these reflections, you need to understand that I had to work really hard to read your writing. That's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. If your reader has to work hard to read what you wrote and to understand what you wrote, you're not communicating well. So we need to fix that. And the first thing you can do to fix that is put the pauses in. Okay? So random acts of kindness is when one person does something nice for someone else, and that person then does something nice for someone else. And the RAKs are continued in hopes that the world will be forever changed. Okay, there's so much happening. So we need to look for those words that link things. Random acts of kindness is when one person does something nice for someone else. That sounds like a good place to put a period. And then instead of saying, and that person, we could say, then that person, and get rid of this then, does something nice for someone else. Again, period. Okay? We don't start sentences with the word and. Capitalize that T. The random acts of kindness are continued in hopes that the world will be forever changed. Look, period, because new thought. It's cool to be part of something like this. This time, we don't need a period here. We can put in a comma. It's cool to be part of something like this, and I think we should do a lot more of it because the world needs more kindness. I would actually say it's cool to be part of something like this, comma, and I think we should do a lot more of it. End that sentence. And end with this short, very clear statement. The world needs more kindness. That's a dramatic little finish. All right. Now, this writing is not phenomenal. There's, especially these first two sentences, I think are pretty awful. There's a repetition of the same wording, the same phrase, and I don't like that necessarily. Sometimes that's okay, but I don't like it here. If I had more time, or if that was my focus, I would go back and fix this. What I wanted you to see right now is the importance of these pauses and how important it is to use punctuation so that your reader understands what you've worked so hard to write. Okay? Thanks.